There's a reason the term black sheep of the family means outcast. For in the wool industry, a black or brown sheep in the flock is rarely welcomed. But while most wool growers aim for snowy white fleece, there's a small core group breeding coloured sheep in varying shades of grey, brown and black. They mostly service the rekindled interest in handcrafts. But as Prue Adams found, the breeders of black and coloured sheep are not always embraced by the wider wool community.
I trained as a professional wool classer, so I was travelling over Victoria and into New South Wales classing, and I had friends that were craftspeople, and they'd say to me, "Oh, you'll see a nice coloured fleece in the flock you're doing. Will you see if you can buy it for us?" So I'd bring wool home and take money back, but my father actually said to me at one stage, "Well, you're not making any money out of this, you might as well have a few of them."
Helen Wright grew up on this Victorian property between Ararat and Avoca. Her parents ran merinos, white merinos.
Hello girls, how are you today? You good? It's only me. It's all right.
In the early 1980s, the young wool classer was surprised when her father allowed her to bring coloured sheep onto the place. It was a move that sparked a passion that would last a lifetime.
My coloured sheep are based on a Merino Corriedale cross, but I am breeding back to Merino because I like the softness of the Merino. Yeah, I've bred quite a few over the years, I suppose, but I don't consider I've bred the perfect sheep, so you keep striving to put together the combinations. You'll breed a beautiful conformation sheep, but the wool's not right near them. The perfect wool you want's on another one that hasn't got the conformation.
Helen Wright still breeds white wool sheep, but every year it's her colours she selects and prepares for the ultimate showcase, the Australian Sheep and Wool Show in Bendigo.
Prue won't hurt you up there.
Come on guys, it'll be fun. We're going to the show.
Jump over.
So in July, mature you, Heloisa, along with Katrina, Julia, Keziah and Leonard, all boarded the trailer bound for Bendigo.
It's a certain amount of pride because I know I've selected probably what I think are the best sheep I've got. They're all brown, the whole team this year. There's no blacks or greys. Now this one comes down, mind your fingers, it comes down.
Oh, I see, yep. All set then, Helen?
Yes, Prue, everything's ready. They're all on board, so next stop, Bendigo, approximately 2 hours' time.
Good travellers?
Yeah, always. Past teams always have been. I hope these ones are, seeing there's only one in there that's actually been to a show before. So I hope they will be, but they're always glad to get out at the other end.
We'll check out how Helen's flock fared a little later. The idea for this story started with a Facebook post from a friend. She put up some photos of the ridiculously cute Valais black-nosed sheep, which hails from Switzerland. I made a few calls to see if these toy-like creatures were available in Australia. And before long, I was driving halfway across the country from my home in South Australia to New South Wales to speak to breeders who are passionate about producing coloured wool.
Good morning, sheep. So I started Coolbong coloured sheep 10 years ago, and they're a Corriedale breed, so a medium wool type.
Originally from Sydney, Melissa Henry became interested in the genetics of coloured sheep while still at school. Now she is the president of the New South Wales branch of the Black and Coloured Sheep Breeders Association, and the first port of call for enthusiasts wanting to get hold of special sheep.
There certainly are a lot of rare breeds that are overseas that are naturally coloured, such as the Jacob sheep and the Vallis black-nose sheep that we see a lot of inquiries for here in Australia. The difficulty is meeting Australian quarantine requirements, which is absolutely crucial in protecting the Australian sheep industry.
Do you go through phases like this in the association where people see something and go, oh, I have to have one of those?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, certainly. We certainly do have a market for selling cute sheep for people on small acreage who are looking for a few pets. And if you're going to have a few pets, then you may as well have a few cute ones.
While cuteness plays a part in the selection of pets, the professional breeders of black and coloured sheep actually treat their segment of the industry very seriously.
Wool quality is really important. Having productive ewes that produce a long staple length, so up to 10 to 12 centimetres is ideal. We can really see that wool crimp. And also being heavy cutters. Temperament is a must for me, being a small flock, and I operate it largely on my own. So temperament is really important for me to be able to manage my sheep and to get them into the yards quite easily.
The market for naturally coloured fleece is usually through the craft trade. Spinners, weavers, felters and home knitters like to get hold of wool that has not been artificially dyed. And there has been a noticeable resurgence of interest in these old-time skills. Melissa Henry sells her fleeces directly to the public via a Facebook page and client list.
There absolutely is a market for coloured wool. My fleeces are sold to hand spinners, so individual fleeces, at $15 per kilo. So I guess compared to a lot of the commodity wool market, that is seen as quite a premium.
As adorable as they are to the uninitiated, to wool growers, the birth of a black or brown lamb is not usually cause for celebration. Only white wool can be successfully and consistently dyed, so coloured offspring are usually culled. Off camera, there are those who scoff at the breeding of these colourful animals. But perhaps surprisingly, Wool Producers Australia, the national peak body for the wool industry, is relatively supportive. A merino man himself, Richard Halliday maintains if guidelines are followed, he has no concerns about the production of black and coloured fleece.
There's room for everyone in the industry. At the end of the day, we're all about, making our own share of the profit, the dollar at home. So they find that, they might have a small property or a medium size, a large property growing coloured wool, but if they can make extra profit for themselves, well and good.
Melissa Henry says acceptance is growing and she is reluctant to make too much of any prejudice or division.
Not all shows have a coloured sheep section in them, so we haven't been able to attend some of those shows. So I guess we're a little bit limited in the shows that we can go to. But certainly shows like the Royal Canberra Show have been absolutely fantastic in accepting us into their program and having us there all weekend.
So as time goes on, would you like to see there be a little bit more unity between the white wool breeders and the coloured and black wool breeders?
Absolutely. There's new breeds being developed all the time and get accepted into show schedules, and I'd like to see us have equal footing with that. I'm not sure we should be going down that political line.
Ah, there goes Black Betty, or there goes Black Sheep Bronnie, and they're two names, two monikers that have been given to me by members of the White Stud Merino Association.
High on a hill outside Yass is the biggest coloured wool stud in the country.
Come on, push him. Let's have you.
Yeah.
You two, come on, don't mess about.
Bronnie Jekyll and Mac McDonald have run as many as 600 superfine merinos in varying shades of brown, black and grey. But they're scaling back a little now as they get older. Bronnie is from a wool-producing family. When she was growing up, the genetic embarrassments, as she laughingly calls them, wouldn't have had a future.
Boom, gone. No questions asked. No, there's a very real reason for that, and we cannot afford to have any dark or medullated fibre contamination in the Australian white wool clip, particularly in the merino wool clip, because it's absolutely tantamount to the wonderful quality of a product that we put out of white wool, that we protect that. Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? She bit you?
With an emphasis on low stress handling and a keen eye to what the market wants, Bronnie Jekyll is well regarded by members of both the coloured and white wool sectors. While she gets some jokey nicknames, she doesn't believe there is the same prejudice there once was.
We've had 3 or 4 different merino inspectors come out, and the sort of comments that are given to us are, well, they're absolutely great, pity they're coloured, pity they're black. But that doesn't worry us because that suits our market.
Bronnie Jekyll doesn't market her superfine fleece directly to craftspeople. Under the stud name Drapid, she's one of very few coloured wool producers to sell through the mainstream commodity market.
We have always targeted mainstream. We wanted to be commercially viable, to be able to produce wool to go into the main chain of processing. And so we've had to have a product that is compatible with white wool of the same specification.
Number 53, 850, 150 cents, 850, 100, 500.
So, in May, at an auction house in Yennora on Sydney's outskirts, 4 lots of Drapid coloured superfine wool, around 16 micron, was up for grabs.
This is sold to New England. Thank you very much, everybody.
At about 700 cents, Bronnie was disappointed with the price. She'd experimented with a 9-month shearing cycle rather than the usual 1 year, and it may not have paid off.
We've sold the wool, that's the main thing. We've shifted it, and now what we're going to do is follow that through, and we're going to find out what the wool's going to be used for, because that's what we want to know, so that we know whether to continue shearing with this shorter length or we go back to the 12 months length.
So I think the best thing is if we go over to the sale offices.
We do follow our wool through. We're very keen to make sure that we know what our buyers want so that we can try and fulfil those specifications. And we have found out that the wool mainly goes over to Korea for early stage processing and roughly gets divided 50-50 to get further processed in either Asia or in Europe. So, somewhere there could be a Saudi prince wearing a suit that our wool has gone into, but by crikey, I would have loved to have been paid the amount that he paid for that bloody suit.
Bendigo's annual Sheep and Wool Show is the biggest of its type anywhere in the world, showcasing everything to do with sheep, the food and the fibre. The white woolly breeds take pride of place in a huge permanent building.
Card holders for your exhibit numbers.
In stark contrast, the dark and coloured sheep breeders set up in a marquee far away on the oval.
Their market is in our Woolcraft section, so we like to have them close.
This is Malcolm Starrett's first year as president of the Australian Sheep Breeders Association, a group with the sole purpose of running this show every year. Can you see a time when the black and coloured wool breeders might be in the big shed with the big white woolly merinos?
We're hopeful that we can improve the Woolcraft section and the section for black and coloured sheep. So they'll have, we hope, in years to come, much better infrastructure than what they have now.
OK, but not necessarily all together. Is there a concern about having them together?
Not necessarily all together. I think it's it's just a terrific fit. We find it a terrific fit having Woolcraft and black and coloured sheep so close together.
Tensile strength out of 10.
10.
In judging the coloured wool, they're looking for all the usual traits they would in white wool.
First place to Elizabeth Murdoch College.
This year, it wasn't the professional breeders who took home the top prize. It went to a group of Victorian high school students.
And champion fleece goes to Elizabeth Murdoch College.
Oh, well, here they are. Come on, girls. Well, congratulations. Thank you. You've really done a great job.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful fleece, and I
Thank you.
congratulate you. It should give you a little bit of confidence to keep on going.
Definitely.
Yeah.
While claiming the top fleece is a major coup, showing off the best coloured animals is the main game.
Welcome to the 2015 Australian Sheep and Wool Show. Here today we're judging the black and coloured.
Different breeds and colours compete. There are the Border Leicesters with their Roman noses, and the English Leicesters sporting spirally dreadlocks, all mixed in with the Corriedales and Merinos.
Three lovely animals. It is great.
The judge, Marie Vinicum, is a coloured sheep breeder herself.
Good colour.
Like many in this small industry, she became interested in the genetics.
This one's first, second, third and fourth. Thank you.
The gene for colour is recessive, so every one of these sheep has 2 recessive chromosomes. That's what makes them coloured. White sheep will have a dominant white gene, but may also carry the recessive for colour, which is why white ewes can have brown babies. In the show ring, Helen Wright is having some mixed results.
Within this group, we're looking at the size progeny.
Her 3 lambs, however, all offspring of the same father, have lined up like little champions.
The group that I found today, which is truly representative of that group within consistency of wool, type, handle, is the Merinos. Thank you very, very much. Sure. Beautiful. Congratulations.
I'm very satisfied. I won the best size progeny group with my 3 brown ones, this ram lamb and 2 tutus ewes, and to me that's a pinnacle for as far as I'm concerned, because it means my breeding program must be going somewhere in the right direction.
And that is what it's all about, breeding. Helen's aim is to consistently produce fleece for her own brand of 5-ply wool.
Yes, my boy.
Bronny's pure superfine merinos will hopefully supply the yarn that ends up in a Saudi prince's suit. And Melissa can barely keep up with demand for fleeces she sends directly to craftspeople. And they all reckon there's plenty of room for others keen to breed sheep of colour.